Hello, my dearest confidant. Today, I feel led to share with you a story about something that happened to me yesterday. So that way you can understand that I'm a real person and I still struggle with conflict and conflict resolution, right? So a couple of days ago, I had posted something on my Facebook page, and it was a quote from me about basically your self-healing journey and how when you depend on others outside of yourself, you can, especially if it's the wrong people, right? People that feed into your trauma triggers and things like that, it can cause you to have unresolved issues with that person or that situation. And somebody felt the need to comment, and I had specifically stated in the thing, the physical plane. I was not trying to be spiritual at all. This was purely about being in the body and being within yourself, right? And somebody had commented just with no punctuation or anything, like with God. And so I really thought about it because it immediately triggered something within me, because I have an issue with people of religious backgrounds feeling like their way is the only way, and they're very closed-minded to a lot of things, and they throw God into the mix a lot of the time as like their trump card, and it causes things to come up in me, right? Because that was a way out for a lot of people when I started to ask questions about what was going on in the Bible and things like that. I wasn't getting real answers, but, like hard stops, like, this is not a question you should ask, don't ask. And so anyways, I really thought about what I wanted to say, and I simply said, like, hey, I'm like, you using the word God is very inclusive. It's only for a select group of people, right? Because if I use Allah as a name, then you've already excluded me. If I follow Buddha, you've excluded me, right? And so, well, excuse the the A girl's interruption. She's gonna say it one more time, I think. But yeah, there she goes. So anyways, like, that should have been the end of that conversation, because I was just reiterating my truth, and I ended it with, my intention here was to reach everyone regardless of their background, their beliefs, and their status. And then they responded back that that makes them sad. And I really, like, when I read the first with God, it immediately triggered a reaction in my body. And that's kind of the point of today's video, is that I recognize that when I'm triggered, I feel something in my gut. It does a little flip. And so when she responded again, I'm like, I feel it in my gut. And then I really tossed and turned and thought about it all night last night. And I was like, why is this bothering me? Not that she said something, right? Because people are entitled to their own opinions. But why is she bothering me, right? And so what I came to was, it reminds me of my tough relationship from my childhood, right, with one of my parental figures. And as you follow me, you'll find out more about that. That it was a form of a way to manipulate me and control me and to bait me into having a disgruntled conversation. Another thing that it triggered within me was my feelings of, I have to have the last word. And another thing that it triggered within me was, like, and by I have to have the last word, I mean her. And so, it made me feel like what I said wasn't enough, and she felt like she had to enunciate and like correct me. And it was a quote. And I even put, by Alicia Manson on the date. And so there was no room for like discussion. And I guess maybe that was something that was up for debate because I left the comments on. So next time I will have to turn the comments off when I make a no. And so, I really thought about how to approach the situation. Do I contact her? Do I? And then so the other thing that it brought up for me was, the feelings that I had from chaos from my childhood. It was like, I have to try to rectify the situation so that way I can plan for every possible scenario, so that way I can mitigate the situation. And also, I made myself responsible for her feelings, right? This person's feelings in this post. And what I've learned on my healing journey is that I'm not responsible for their feelings. I'm responsible for receiving the information that they're sending to me and trying to find a resolution. I'm not responsible for how they felt. That's not my responsibility. If they feel guilty, that's them. That's their trauma. That's their triggers. And why, if I'm talking about my healing journey, is it sad in the first place? Because I didn't acknowledge God. And that's me assuming, right? But I have no further desire to find out why this person is sad. And I have no obligation to, even though I've known them for a long time. And so, it just really, to sum up this whole thing, is not to complain, but to show you my thought process and how you can get from, 0 to 60 real fast, and how to really break down those thoughts and really come to a place where you can know better within yourself. Like, okay, the ultimate answer was, I'm not responsible for how she feels. I'm not responsible for her reactions to what I say. I'm responsible for speaking my truth. And if someone doesn't agree with it, that's okay. That doesn't make my reality invalid. And actually, on the post, it really just accentuated what I was really trying to say without me having to say it. And so, anyways, I love you, my dearest confidant. I hope this video was helpful and that it helps you to understand, well, the next thing that we're going to talk about really is how to identify when you are triggered, how it affects your body. And so, yeah, all of that to say, so for this week, for the next, however long until the universe gives me something else to give you, focus on when someone says or does something, where in the body you feel triggered. What immediate reaction does your body give you to show you that there is a trauma, a trigger, or something that needs to be delved deeper into and ultimately resolved? I love you, my dearest confidant. Until next time.